Welcome to your new role, Minister Guilbeault.
We hear you care about the rights of Indigenous people, but we're concerned you may not have been properly briefed about the Ring of Fire.
Why else would you have recently signed off on a terms of reference that cut Indigenous peoples out of decision-making roles on their own lands? Let us help you.
Allow us to provide you with the Treaty People's briefing on what's been going on with the Ring of Fire before you got here.
You've probably heard that impact benefit agreements represent the consent of Indigenous communities, but there's more to the story.
My name is Dayna Scott, and I am a settler, a law professor, and a mom. I live in Toronto. The problem with impact benefit agreements being equated to consent is that they're private contracts that are negotiated between a band council and a company in the shadow of the settler law. Communities know that the projects are going to be approved, whether they've objected to them or not. And so you can't blame a community for then wanting to negotiate some benefits from that project that could offset the costs or the risks that they are going to be imposed upon them when the project goes through. So those deals are negotiated by the band council, and there's often a lot of secrecy around them. There's confidentiality clauses. There's often also what they call a no protest clause, which actually prevents members that might disagree with the project from being able to voice that concern or raise questions, would prevent them from expressing their dissent, like through a blockade, for example. The agreement is subject to enforcement in settler arbitration, according to settler law. For all of those reasons, I don't think it's possible to equate the signing of an IBA with the consent of an Indigenous community. When would we consider that consent could be freely given? I would say that's only going to be in a situation where the Indigenous communities are exercising their own governing authority on the land. That is, they have the ability to say yes or no to projects, to give the project their consent or to withhold their consent. And if that governing authority is respected, then we can say that communities have given their free, prior, and informed consent to a project.
There are so many things to consider in making a huge decision like this. Let's start fresh in a better way. Please act now to stop the current regional assessment and instead allow Indigenous peoples to lead a process to determine the future of their homelands. In your own words, Indigenous peoples have been stewards of this planet since time immemorial. The fight against climate change is not possible without their knowledge and leadership. Any agreement on a path forward must protect the rights of Indigenous peoples, full stop. You said that. We want to take you at your word, Minister Guilbeault. Do the right thing.